Okay, here we
Well,
go.
we'll have to see how this one goes. Underway. Opening up. Dry Arabia. Remember, folks, this is the best of 5, so we should get some spicy matchups. But to start off with, it's going to be the tried and true classic of Mongol and Mongol Dry Arabia.
Look at that nice close Uvu there, right under the town center, right up against the trees for GiveUA. But his gold will be a little further away, as we see. Looks like the other side of the map, Concur has 2 gold mines behind his town center.
Holy crap. I think Concur's dad works for Microsoft. Like, what is that generation?
Yeah, look at that. Oh, wow.
Like, everything. Like, look at the gold, the gold crew as well. Like,
the gold, the second gold. Yeah, I don't know about this, but how would you even know what's going on over here?
God. Like, what? Is there anything that is not good for him? Like,
I don't know, but as far as...
crap, like, Concur just like took a dump in GiveUA's cereal or something this morning. Like, it just feels so mean. The only good thing GiveUA has is his inner corner, right? So it's like, how do you raid all around him? But like, what is there to raid around him? He's got nothing there.
Yeah, so GiveUA will probably, if he's probably going to scout this to see what's going on. We'll probably need to ensure that he has some map control, because I think if he gets cornered here, it could be some trouble, since his resources are going to be harder to get.
Yeah, I think like if we check the overall map again, like the deer, I think are also like maybe slightly in his favor. But the problem is, because you're in the back corner, if you have to play out to get deer, it's not an insta win. It's not an insta grab like it used to be before, right? Like, you move slow. And the worst case scenario is both of your deer stacks are 40 your base, which is exactly what he's got there. So I don't even think Pro Scouts is an option in a Mongol matchup. And it does mean that, like, essentially, to put it in caveman terms, GiveUA has stones and wood, and that's it. That's literally it. He's caveman status right now. And he only has 1 wood line as well.
For what's worth, I believe these these are the qualifier rounds. These are the open qualifiers, and I know that seeded maps are used for the main event, but I don't think there are map seeds used here. So it's just kind of the luck of the draw. But anyways, let's see what's going on here. GiveUA coming forward with a villager. I thought Concur might come and harass that there for a little bit. Goldmine very, very far away. Holy cow.
Yeah, but he was sniping the sheep instead. Like, this is better. Just get rid of his food. Like, you're never going to kill the cut. Oh, what? Okay, yeah. So there's no interception. Like, he could have wrapped around and sniped by taking the sheep back. But it looks like instead, he's just going to lose his own sheep. So Concur really not optimizing his early aggression here. Just kind of losing sheep for free.
You know, as some of them say, you can't out-task the Taskmaster. GiveUA, he is out there getting those sheep. And, he doesn't care. He's got to walk a little farther, this gold mine. He's just going to just fight even harder.
Yeah, it's really kind of a race between what gives anxiety quicker. GiveUA himself giving Concur anxiety, or this seed giving GiveUA anxiety. Right? It's like, I do like that he's kind of getting those early trades, because I think it is going to balance it out. I think if I'm GiveUA in this situation, like, understanding the landscape, I need to early harass. I need to punish Concur where he's a little bit loose. Otherwise, he's just going to outscale me naturally.
Every time that scouts, GiveUA did train a scout, in fact, which you don't always see from Mongols. Every time he hits that villager, it does make him go, whoa, and he wobbles, and it, idles a little bit.
I call these guys the stormtroopers, because, like, have you ever seen how inaccurate they are when they swing a sword? Like, they're not even close to hitting someone. Like, what? Ugh. So that one looked good from this angle, but if we get a side angle, he's not even close to striking. It's like he's just air attacking or something. But yeah, really good effect here. Like, I actually like that he goes to the scout. I think it's good economically as well, because the whole idea is you can pass the sheep from your Khan off to your scout, and then your Khan can go across and aggress your opponent earlier. I think genuinely, like, going to scout is still better for Mongols.
Imagine if Concur had done the same thing in GiveUA, because he's just so far from that town center. But yeah, GiveUA putting some good pressure on here early. We do have an age up already started for GiveUA, so he is ahead on the age up game. And Concur would be, it looks like, also aging up as well. I don't know if he's ahead. Are they neck and neck?
I believe the tech up is coming out from both sides. Concur should be pretty close as well.
Yeah.
He just baited Concur to use his speed arrow for nothing, though. He activated it, and then GiveUA was like, okay, I'll just keep firing on the villagers. So much damage as well. Like, it's kind of annoying, because now you have so many low health villagers that might be exploitable if they ever come out to these risky, like, goal points. And you're going to need to come out here at some point. Like, this is the closest gold you have.
Yeah. Yep. So it's continuing to harass. He's got that scout. That extra scout is really making a difference here. I almost wonder if is it worth, you know, training a scout up now a little bit later instead of a villager. But I think right now he's, there we go. He's got that gold and he wanted that, I guess, 100 gold. What's he using?
How has Concur spent this whole time? Okay, that's good. He's gonna get the scout, but like, how has he spent this whole time attacking GiveUA's scout Khan, and yet he has more damage on his own Khan? Like, that's demoralizing enough before you consider the fact that like the whole while GiveUA's been getting info on your base, and you don't actually have a clue what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right? Because you've been defensive with the Khan the whole time.
Okay, so we've got an archer range going down for GiveUAnxiety right now. What's that coming across mid? Is that the Khan? I think is what that is. Yeah, it must be.
Yes, he's on his way. He's angry and wants vengeance.
Yeah, and
I think he started to realize this is pointless. Like, if it's a Khan for Khan trade and they're not building military, then he can't do anything. So he just needs to try and punish this very far out gold line. GiveUA's worst fear has been realized, like, oh no, he's realized I have to run further.
Yeah, because he's got to really run back. You can't even just like slowly pull one at a time. And not to mention, this is now a second age Khan, right? So a little more damage.
Yeah, the archers will be able to force him away, but that means you revealed your hand, right? Like, he doesn't only just see the archers, he sees the racks. Meanwhile, now looking at Concur's base, this whole while he didn't build any military. So now he has like the flexi to dictate what he wants to build. Like, he might go spearman and horseman, for example, which I think is actually a better comp than archer spear.
I can tell you, I've watched many of GiveUAnxiety's games and casted them. He loves archer spear combos, so I'm not surprised at all to see that, you know, this is what he's going with. It's a composition he's very comfortable with. And, you know, and there's a certain amount of micro that goes with, you know, having these two units dancing together and playing here. So up against a stable only opening, I'm sure GiveUAnxiety will be just fine here.
It's kind of weird as well, because I do think it's like a micro-intensive matchup, but if both players are like micro equal, I do favor horseman spear, just because I think it's hard, even as a good micro, like even an accurate player, to click the right units, because the difference is like when archers and spears go in, they split, right? When horsemen and spear go in, they go in together. There's a movement speed difference, but they cluster. It makes it really annoying to keep track of.
Ooh, getting a stab there on the Khan.
Close, but no cigar. We'll be able to back away. And now he knows the aggression's coming, but there's no villager being pulled, I don't think. There might be one coming soon, but it doesn't look like there's any interest in GiveUA to get an outpost down. So this is very dangerous now. Like, whoever kind of blinks first in this matchup can falter, just because of the Yam movement speed for the defensive player.
Yeah. Okay, so picking off some... You can get a villager? There you go, he gets a villager.
It took us almost 8 minutes in, but it finally happened, guys.
And maybe another one? 2 villagers.
Oh.
Wow. Big raid
Count
here.
for the count time. He's going again. He wants more. He's like, yes, the Gur may not be in good position here. He's finally going to shift it away.
You could get another one. There's still one more there. Will he get it?
Yeah, but he doesn't see it right now. Oh, there we go. He goes back in. That's a freebie.
3 free villagers there. This is huge. He hasn't... Did he lose any units? I don't think he's lost anything.
Because, like, how? Like, the Khan's leading the formation, so he tanks any TC fire, and everything else is fine, because the Khan has good health.
Oh, boy. If he gets a surround on this, if they... Uh-oh. Oh, but there we go. Archer's on the back line. He's got a surround. This is probably favorable for the horsemen.
I don't know about that.
That's a lot of spearmen, though. I thought you might pick them off.
Cotton. Oh my god, the hardened spearmen just shredded the horses.
GiveUA has picked off villagers, and he's now has the military lead, it does look like.
Oh, he can't get the final flurry out. That would have been big, actually, if he sniped the Khan as well. And this trade's just good overall. Like, there's enough spearmen here as well, as long as he controls the archer count. But it looks like with a double archery range, this is where GiveUA understands he needs to back away.
Wow. Okay, so that was a good trade. Looking at the villager count right now, 29 villagers for Concur up against the 31 of GiveUAnxiety. Military difference, 21 currently on the field for GiveUA. Concur's sitting there at 9.
GiveUA, no. Sneak, put him somewhere. Put the sheep somewhere. Put him... That's a snitch right there. That's Agent Sheep. Don't take him back. Don't withdraw him from the base. All right? This is like Cold War era spy tactics. Just let him give you the info. I've actually seen some players use this really well, because one thing you can do is if you get an outpost on the other side of the tree line and you walk like a sheep around, people don't notice. And then you just have vision while sniping them down. But it looks like it's not going to be able to get any value there.
Okay, some horsemen looking out the raid. Now, does GiveUA have a tower on his gold mine? I'm assuming he probably does by this point. I'm wondering if this horseman could pick something off there.
It looks like it. He's got quite a lot of things clustered there, so there should be a tower, possibly 2.
Oh, well, he doesn't have a tower, okay. But he's got an army, so he'll be fine here.
He's got a mobile tower. That's what this is. It means the horsemen will really not find the bang for buck. Yeah, smart cookie Concur will just turn around and say, nope, 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 nope.
Now,
nope.
in a lot of games, you know, you see Mongols trying to get to the Castle Age. GiveUAnxiety is a player who really likes playing things out in feudal. So I would not be shocked if he just keeps massing up, throwing down more archery ranges, more barracks, massing an army, and trying to do a push. But maybe he will for Castle. We'll have to see.
Well, I think like usually when you think about mirror matchups, outside of like clear blunders, like whoopsie, totally shouldn't have done that, lost the game. It comes down to you being able to force like 2 reactions out of your opponent in conjunction, right? Like, say you do something, your opponent like calibrates and says, okay, I need an archery range and a stable. They've done 2 actions, and then you're ahead. And then in that situation, what you can do is you can just fall back on like economical scaling because you've made them sacrifice more of their game early on, right? So they don't have scalability. The wonky part about doing that is you have to make sure you're padded. And I think the thing that GA has done really well is he's forced a lot of reactions out of Concur, and he has a standing army. He hasn't done this super greedy. And it means he can end this in feudal in theory, but he doesn't need to.
Oh, he got resources right there.
Sacrifices. Oh my god, he touched it.
He shot it. Yeah.
Yeah, so for those
Bounty.
that don't realize, when buildings aren't constructed, if you touch them at all as a Mongol player and your opponent deletes them, you get the 25 food, 25 gold. It's just guaranteed. It's quite a ridiculous interaction, but like it makes sense when you think about it. Otherwise, it's too exploitable to deny Mongols one of their advantages.
Wow.
I mean, I don't feel like this horseman count.
Now look at the archer. Concur's got a nice archer count there, starting to get.
They're even. They're actually even, and the reinforcing points
Careful
early for
here.
GiveUA. And the spears, they block out the horseman. They'll chase through now. And after both arrows are finished, the trade is good for GiveUA. Khan is going to be assassinated. That could be the difference maker. Turns around for the fight once more as the archers do bait in the horseman, but the spearmen get blocked out by their own troops here. However, the archer count now starting to favor GiveUA will force Concur away.
Yeah, that was a scary one there, but yeah, I think GiveUA
this is dangerous.
Yeah. Doing a really good job controlling those horsemen, keeping them away from those spears, those players.
Yeah, so it's like GiveUA is really skirting the line between optimal and way to throw, bro, right? Like, he doesn't want the spearmen anywhere near that they get assassinated by the archers, but it means that the horsemen are getting opportunities to respond. Luckily, the body blocks as they push past were slowing down the engagement a bit. And also, no maneuver arrow, no yam. Like, if there's maneuver or yam there, I think you lose like half your archers at least.
And do we have some blacksmith upgrades? It does look like...
yes.
Yeah, for both players, got some upgrades coming in.
But the melee's coming through for GiveUA as well, so he's adding on more. And when we look at the eco side, you can see the effect of that, right? Like, because he's stopping off those additional techs, like, Concur is ahead. Despite the fact he's 2 villages down, like, he's not being forced to replace as many units. And it means he's naturally floating towards castle, whereas GiveUA is kind of looking all in.
Yeah. But here comes these horsemen again. There's some archers. I mean, the archer comp is really what's critical here, right? Because if Concur runs out of villagers or archers, he can't just run in with his horsemen because of the spearmen.
But then the annoying part is, like, if the horsemen ever live at the end, like, you as GiveUA have to leave defensive forces or you get raided, right? Like, that's the annoying part. Like, this gold line is dictating a lot of the game right now, and that's why GiveUA pushed early. He knew if he was forced on the back foot, this gold line and how far away it is from his TC was going to be his kryptonite. And this is kind of his worst case scenario being realized.
Now, army split right now.
Value.
Look at that. Horsemen down in the south, archers up to the north, and GiveUA is pushing across to mid. So this could be an interesting interaction.
Yeah, because he can pick off reinforcements as well.
And Concur's aging up right now, so I don't know if he's pooled military production.
Oh, this is actually big, because if GiveUA goes back now, he's fully at a disadvantage. Instead, he's going in. He's committing a lot of spearmen, a lot of archers straight in, understanding this must be the moment. When you split your forces like that, it must be to try and bait attention away, and he will not be baited.
Yep, spearmen are doing a fine job denying the horsemen. He's going around. He wasn't able to get any villagers there. Just, I mean, let's be honest. This base is built extremely defensively. Everything's on the other side. Yep, but he's not going to get a whole lot here at first. Maybe he can go around top and get the tower, but I don't know. Going for the landmarks right now.
This stings, though, right? Like, remember, those pastures, 750 health and cost 150 wood. And you need them. You need them all times as the Mongols. Like, this could still be very big. The horsemen are picking off some reinforcements, but the problem is that the clumped force. Look at the military count. GiveUA has double the military. So you're still not at the critical mass to defend yourself, even with a tech up. As the dance is complete, the rams will be summoned, and they will start to move in.
Yep, okay, in come those rams heading after that landmark there. It does look like GiveUA is going to be engaging that first. and a huge mass of spearmen and archers. And now that he's packed that up, it actually takes
Oh,
more
boy.
damage from range when you have a packed building. But it looks like he is moving his buildings out of the way, out of the harms of the Rams. But that's a lot of archers.
Oh, God. This is not a good fight. He has to back up. He has to give over so much ground. And they're in on the TC. And the spears as well. There's a lot of them here. The damage is going to add up. They'll push forward. Villagers need to get out of here and try to burn this down.
Here come the
While
horsemen.
archers are distracted. The wraparound, though. The horsemen, they're roaming back in base. But the spears block them out. Damage done. We'll try to shift apart. Rams are going to peel off for the moment. Chase out as well. Villagers could be assassinated, but instead focusing on the military force here. Still doubling up Concur's account. And it looks like it's going to be a clear win in this fight for GUA. The question is how much is going to be left afterwards.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Do we have any? We don't have any man-at-arms. There's no barrack, so he's hit the third age, but he can make some crossbows, but there's no armored units. So.
Oh, I mean, we've seen crossbow spam win out, but this ain't the game, dog. Spearman and archer count too healthy. Rams onto the pastures, damage really being done here. And GUA, he's padding himself. Look at his eco right now. Even if he loses these forces, he's going to make sure he's up in castle and he's going to be comfortable. Meanwhile, all the pastures are on fire, and this is going to be a heavy economy hit into Concur.
Yeah, and if he can get up there and deny that gold, that gold is what's really the biggest income there as you hit the castle age with Mongols because of that landmark. But there we go. Ram does go down. Villagers seeking shelter. And I think GUA's forces continuing to take out any military that Concur has by just sheer numbers.
I mean, he's just been obliterated. Like, look at the eco count now. It's a 16 lead. A 17 lead made that for GUA. And that tech advantage doesn't matter because Concur had no way of getting anything from it, right? He's missing food. Look at his food. 0 income per minute. Through the day, we have not seen that once yet.
And we've got a burning.
And it just stops him doing
I think that pasture right there is going to burn down. It's got like no HP left. Down it goes.
I mean, I love
around.
I love all the packed up structures. Like, he's like, can we just leave this map? Can we go somewhere else?
Yeah. So now he is now in the third age. So, I mean, this is a pretty good situation for GiveUAnxiety, but we'll have to wait and see. Not going to call it yet. There we go. Another engagement going on in Concur's base there.
Yeah, I mean, this really is just looking like ramming speed versus yamming speed, and ramming coming out ahead in this one. I mean, even though you've buffered away the assault, it's now the damage, the everlasting damage. Like, Concur doesn't really have the military infrastructure or the military count to now go out and then just, like, bend GUA over his knee and spank him for it. Like, instead, GUA just gets to kind of cruise now. He's going to build up a bigger military, and when he comes back, he's just going to be twice the length of his opponents.
Yeah, chat says they think those Mongol buildings are packing up and heading for Boulder Bay. They're out of here.
Hey, man, I mean, if you want to play out Mongols on Boulder Bay, be my guest.
Concur's set up all the way to the north. You see that? He's got it looks like his eco has kind of migrated north there. We got a new Uvu set up. But this could be ripe for a raiding if those Lancers come in, which I'm sure GiveUAnxiety is training.
So, yeah, how are these military units now defending your eco lines, right? Like, they're so out of position. And now a Lancer switch over, double stable as well. And GUA, he padded himself a lot of stones saved up so he can afford the initial Lancers. So this is going to hit hard. And Concur, he was building crossbowmen, but I don't know if he's continued it. No, he switched into archers. Oh my god, GUA's playing him like a fiddle.
Here come the Lancers.
I mean, he had the right call when he started going crossbows, but not at the time, right? Like, he didn't realize this was going to come back to bite him in the ass.
And now all these
gonna shut
villagers going idle as he also swoops around to the south. I think he's just going to slowly starve his opponent out.
Yeah, it's just death by 1,000 cuts, right? The classic kind of way to go when you're talking about mirror matchups. Just poke and prod until you got like that emphatic lead. And he's definitely getting towards it. Man-at-arms coming out, but I look at the force, the Vanguard on the south side, just raiding it again on the Deerstone. And more villagers going to die.
Dying.
This is
oh
crippling.
My gosh.
He's almost doubling up now on the villager count in a mirror matchup. This is not good.
Yep. And GUA's got 1,000 food in the bank at the moment.
He can do whatever he wants. Like, the world is his oyster, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's clearly eating oysters with that much food in reserve. It feels like there's this mountain to climb for Concur, and it begins with raids. And if his Lancers are staying back here, responding to the Lancers of GUA, they're not extracting value in his opponent's base. And I think like that's his missed trick. He needs to find a way of returning the favor that GUA has given to him, which is giving less villagers to manage.
Yep, okay. And that gold mine is slowly running out. I don't know how much is left there.
I think his villager
Oh my
count is
gosh,
slowly running
villagers,
out.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
One.
It's about 1K.
Two.
There we
And this
go.
adds up quickly. Yep. I mean, I'm surprised he waited this long. It seemed like the answers just weren't there. Concur will surrender it over, and GiveUA will go 1 point up.
There we go. We got our Mongol mirror out of the way. What will we see next? Could it be another mirror? What? I think we already have our civs.
They fast.
Rus versus French. Man, they are on the money there with the overlay. Great job. Okay, we've got Rus versus French here on the next map. Now, this would have been a map selected by Concur since he did lose the first round. And yes, Rus versus French. We haven't seen any French today, so this will be fun to watch.
Yeah, we kept coming in the series too late and missing out on Le Français, but here on Lipany of all maps, I mean, it's a bold choice, Cotton, especially against Rus. I feel like Rus are really one of the powerful civs on this map. Like I've kind of been fanboying it. Like B kind of led the way, was showing me how powerful the ball play can be. Even if you don't do that, it's the triple archery drop that can be really strong. Like I could see this very quickly being a 2-0 based on the kind of matchups, judging by what they do normally. Because I think one edge the Rus have is like they have the flexibility to be aggressive, but they don't fall behind economically due to the power of the second TC play, right? Like we talked about this earlier today, the fact that you can just instantly buy double stone, and then because your wood economy is always stronger, you can afford a second TC. So I think it's very much going to be on Concur to actively raid, and if GiveUA plays greedy enough, loose enough of his TCs, that might come online. But I think key control here for him is going to be like dictating flow around that central stealth forest that we all come to know to be so deciding in these matchups.
Well, GiveUA is up 1-0 right now in this series. And if you've watched any of GiveUA's stream, he has played countless hours with the Rus. I'd be curious to see which civs he's played the most, but this might possibly be his #1 civ, if not just behind that. He plays a lot of Rus, and he plays Rus aggressive in the feudal age typically. So if Concur has done his homework, he should know that. But we'll see in this matchup. I have a feeling that GiveUA is going to be very confident here, and I expect to see a lot of aggression.
So my concern is like, if you're talking about playing France, I think your ability to micro is very important. Like, I think France is very much I'm going to tear you apart with several different raiders, right? Like, the whole idea is you can't keep track of all these different groups of knights. My flagged issue after game one is, I don't know if you kind of clocked this, but Concur's, like, micro wasn't, like, overwhelmingly impressive, if that makes sense. Like, I felt like he wasn't taking good trades, especially underneath his own TC, where he wasn't, like, prioritizing fire into infantry at all. They were attacking rams. Like, there was a lot of small things that kind of, like, have me doubting, like, his French lethality. But maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe it was just a frustrating game. It kind of, like, got into a weird kind of sluggish feeling and he lost the flow. And maybe he'll just be, like, this dominant kind of a Marine Lord-esque player who can control 6 groups of knights and keep poking away at villagers. I think he's going to need to do that. But as you said, GiveUA definitely an aggressive player. I think I'd say him and Donati for the longest period of time have been the players that kind of scream to me as these feudal age Rus rushers. Even like they'd be experimenting with back in the horse archer spam days. So it's definitely possible that he could ramp up the aggression himself. Maybe the issue is finding those staging points, because I think a lot of early like aggression relies upon having outposts as a soft reset point. And something we discussed already today is that the Rus don't easily do that, considering their wooden fortresses cost 175 wood to build.
Yeah. So we've we'll have to see here. Is it going to be Archer Spear versus Knight Archer? Possibly. But we'll be getting this game very, very shortly here. And if you have not already, make sure you take a second, drop a sub here. EGC TV, you enjoy these big events. Let's keep them coming. So thanks for supporting the channel and helping to make games just like this possible. And I hear the sound, so I think we're going to be into it very soon.
Yeah, if you guys want to keep that cutie pesty around in the AoE4 scene, make sure you sub to the channel. Got to make us look big and strong. Got to help us help the Ukrainian people. So shout out to all those that have subbed so far and those that will. As it looks like we're about ready, I can hear the bells ringing. It is time for game number 2 between GiveUAnxiety and Concur, and we take to possibly a cavalry versus cavalry matchup here in Lipany.
It looks like we've got up to the northwest here. Let's check out these spawns. It looks like we've got a gold vein to the north, stone to the south. Not a big of an issue. We're not looking at Mongols. It looks like we've got GiveUA's gold behind his base. So both players kind of like a behind gold vein. Wood lines look rather evenly distributed. I'd give this this spawn pretty fair compared to the last game. And we were worried about GUAs in the last game, and he still pulled it out with the win.
Yeah, I think in this situation, actually, Concur once again got kind of a better spawn. Like, from his situation, if he ever goes on the defensive, he has a lot of natural choke points, right? So he's got the cliffs to the south. He's got a lot of wood lines to the north. Like, he can create natural choke points to his advantage. Also, he got more choke points than GUA. So, in theory, this not only gives him more defensive capability, but it means that he can actively raid with the French easier. Because if you look at the layout of GUA's base, like, what are you hiding behind here? There's not much.
That's true. Yep, as far as choke points and defensive situations. And GUA sometimes will build some wall segments, so we'll have to see if maybe he does that. But early game here, we have to be paying attention to the roost. They're going to be going after the wolves and the deer to get that bounty. We do see a wolf caught in the middle there, and that scout taking some damage. I'm assuming will Concur train a second scout? I think he has one out there. Yeah.
I should point out, by the way, that the French are not favored against the Roost in this matchup. It's 46.7% win rate for the French. So, like, keep in mind that also being on Lipany, I think the Roost can utilize the defensive elements of this map better. I would say if anyone's wondering like what the way up is, who's favored in this matchup, I'd say the Roost should be stronger on this map against this Civ.
Yep. So we've got the bounty added up, already up at 155 bounty. We can see, there we go. Age up has started for GiveUAnxiety, going up with the Golden Gate, that economic landmark, dropping down that lumber camp there and transition. And I can almost guarantee we're going to see a barracks and an archer range coming down, because I just know he loves that archer spear, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's just kind of a solid all-in play. Like, it works really well against the French. There is another play around, like, stables that we've seen from some Roost players where you have the flexibility in knights, but also horsemen against archer comps. I'm not the biggest fan of it against France, just because, like, it's very simple. In a knight-on-knight matchup, the Roost lose at this stage in the game due to the French cavalry being able to heal with chivalry, but also due to the bonus damage they get after a charge. So I would expect spearmen archers if GUA wants to hang around in feudal.
Yeah. Meanwhile, up in the northwest, we've got, I'm assuming, the School of Cavalry being built. And then I would imagine probably an early archery range as you get into the next age. But we'll see. No stone on the horizon, it doesn't look like. So, you know, whether a second town center was in play.
I think, like, when France goes second PC, the only time it feels good is when it's like a knee-jerk reaction, just like an advantage in the game. Like, I think the biggest issue I've seen sometimes is French players kind of playing for early like it's intended. And it means you miss your window. Like, France and England are kind of the lead examples of tempo civs. Like, they're meant to control the flow of the game, right? They're meant to pressure early on. So I think if you go for a second TC early on as France, you sacrifice your ability to assassinate villages with the knights. So I wouldn't expect that anytime soon. I think if anyone's going to multi-TC, it's going to be GUA. And as we said, it can really snake on you. Like, you don't expect it, because all your opponent needs is wood, and then they do a double trade, and they get their hands on the required stone for a TC.
Yeah, yep, true, for sure. Okay, so we've got GUA up in the second age. French about to be there in just a few seconds. And then we'll see what's going on. Now, meanwhile, 250 bounty has been secured there for GiveUAnxiety. So that gives them the harvest rate bonus and more income from the hunting cabins.
Yeah, and it's vital to get that early gold, because the more gold you have, the longer you can delay going on your mining camp, which costs 50 wood, and you know, you have idle time running out there. And it means that also these initial trades, like we just talked about, like the TC expansion example, if you can get an extra 200 gold, you can just instantly afford that stone without even dropping a mining camp, and you can potentially drop a town center there instead, right? So it's like added value. It's the ripple effects.
Look at this, going for the forward deer, dropping down. That's a bold move there for the French.
Especially considering your alternative deer site, right? Like, you could have went to the north. It's a little bit further away from your base, but it's also not the front of your base. So, yeah, it looks like Concur understands he has to be the tempo setter in this game. So, if he ever loses the front, he's going to lose a lot.
Yeah, let's check out the front of GiveUAnxiety's base as those knights come in. It looks like there's already a scout battle there with those. Now, you see those scouts walking nice and slow with the deer. That was a change in one of the more recent patches, that they slow down when they're carrying those professional scouts, carrying the deer. But we have a knight there now guarding those deer. So trying to counter that professional scout play, which didn't used to really be a thing. And there we look at that. Barracks in an archer range, just like we thought might happen.
Kind of feels like Roos stopped hitting the gym, really, right? Like between the pro scouts, because they're the ones that done it the most, and also the warrior monks moving slow relics picked up. Like they clearly skipped arm day, right? They can no longer carry as much as they used to. And you're right, it definitely hurts them a lot. The spearmen have to come out first. And this is one big difference. If you go pro scouts and you're up against one of these tempo civs, you 100% need to protect these deer sites when you move out from them.
Okay, up to the north, we've got, I don't know if it's a scout. There's some kind of ping going off.
It is a scout, yeah. I think there was a scout on scout there. It wasn't a knight in place, but the knight's shifting across now.
Okay.
I like how he's just ditched. He's not even going to risk the knight showing up.
Yeah.
But yeah, this should be recoverable now. Like you can't really answer free spearmen.
Look at that, dropping the deer. Quick micro there.
It's like, didn't want this one. I'll come back for it later. Bye.
And there's I mean, if you've ever done this professional scout play, bringing the deer in, it's a very micro intensive. It takes a lot of actions to move individual scouts to different deer, kill the deer, pick them up, bring them back to the town center, go back out. Like there's a lot going on top of protecting your villagers, training your military. A lot of actions per minute needed there.
Meanwhile, France is just like drag villagers over to area.
Gather. Spearman on that scout. That's not going to be good. Oh, I think he saved it. I think he got out of there.
I mean, this is really cool by Concur. It's ballsy because your opponent has archer ranges and they're playing Roost. Like, they're going to build a lot of archers. But I actually really like this because it's just cheap, efficient units in place, and then your knights get to free up and go raiding where they choose.
I did not expect to see spear. I don't usually see the whole lot of spearmen early on out of the French, but we'll see as these archers can just move out and do something about it here soon.
It's crazy as well, because like usually when you do see spears from France, it's because they're defensive. Like I've seen France more recently build racks a lot more. And it's against like previous iterations of Mongols or being up against like, you know, another civ that's going to get high up in your face very quick. But as an aggressive posturing unit, this isn't seen frequently. This is very unique what Concur is doing here.
Okay, there we go. Knights charging forward. Going to maybe pop that scout. He might get away. There's a ton of food underneath the town center, by the way, right now.
Oh, he doesn't peel the horseman back.
Yep.
That's 120 for nothing. That's the most annoying part about this, right? Like, if you don't kill the scouts, they'll just come back. They passively heal. Like, you're over here playing some old school FPS, and they're over here doing Call of Duty regen all the time.
Was he dropping more barracks and archery range? Is that what I saw there in his
I think so. Like, he's flowing his additional wood, right? Because he does have the wooden fortress down, so he can afford it.
Yeah, so this is classic GiveUA. He's just going to keep making spear, archer.
And you can afford it, right? Like, because the wooden fortress, the additional 20% drop off, then also the favorable trades to Golden Gate.
Look at that food.
Yeah. It's so damn good. There's so many carcasses here. And remember, folks, if you come from AV2, these don't degenerate. The only degens in here are the casters. Like, there's no degen on the carcasses, as you can see there. 249 food forever.
Yep. So, boy, that's going to be... now, France is up 5 villagers. They do train villagers slightly faster. But we've got that bounty, of course, going on right now for the Rus, for the hunting.
I just think the mystical arts of alchemy from the Rus... like, is never kind of equated when we look at these ecos. Though.
This is going to be a cleanup.
Whoopsie.
Yikes.
And he never took them away. Right? That's the bigger problem with this play. Like, it makes sense if you're playing pro scouts yourself. But
I don't know about making spearmen versus... I mean, he scouted. There was clearly no cavalry being trained, but...
Well, like, you delayed him getting the carcasses a little bit, but you didn't fully delay him. Like, he still got carcasses through.
Much. So he still gathered. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it only makes sense if you're going pro scouts yourself, which you didn't.
Okay,
now he realizes he has to extract value elsewhere. He'll find the sole villager on the wood line.
There we go.
Poor Timmy.
But now at the front line, he's pushing in. I think he might have found the villagers on the front line for the French.
Yeah, the deer site. Yeah, the 4 deer site. It's come back to bite him in the butt. And the outpost is too late. Reactionary outpost will not do in this situation.
He can't stop these archers or these spearmen. He does. Oh, he does have. Are those archers? Yeah, he does have 2 archers, but I mean, he's gonna have to change that number. Yeah.
Yeah, his opponent already has double archer range, possibly triple soon, and you have 1 archer range.
He can just rally military units over there now. I mean, can he make a ram yet? Does he have that tech? No, I don't think so.
No, but he's gonna stay. Like, the whole idea is he sees that his opponent went pocket economy earlier.
He even getting the deer. Look at that. Oh boy.
Oh, it's gonna give you anxiety because you're running out of food in this one. And like he should realize soon the northern expansion, but he won't go for it because the one weakness of GeoA's army is it's static, right? Like he has spearmen and archers. So if he ever runs to the north, he's going to be out of position, and then French cavalry reigns supreme. So I like that he's not being greedy about this. It's really smart.
GeoA's micro has been on point. He's been all over the map, split armies, split scouts, all kinds of stuff going on. Is he going after the deer or the boar?
It's time to squeal like a piggy, boy.
It's dinner time.
Boar's like, leave me alone.
That was pretty good.
No, I want that 75 gold.
Okay, so he's picking up the gold from that boar, and then also, let's see, is there enough? Can he get to the 500 bounty? I don't think so.
No.
Let's see, because there's another boar,
can't crack
right?
it, but it's extra gold, right? Like he's got AFK military doing nothing, so it's just use for them. Oh, now Concur feels useless. This fight, he's mismicroed as well. More damage done than needed.
This is looking really good for GeoA, and he's aging up. Abby the tranny.
Yep.
It doesn't look like French is. He has the gold to age up, but not the food. And he's just been pushed off of his forward deer. It looks like he's hunting now at the north. But now GeoA pops the third age. What is Concur going to do now?
He's going to yell Sacre Bleu and then retreat. It's French for you. I mean, this situation is kind of his only play as well. Like, he's so far behind, he has to kind of just accept that wherever GeoA goes right now, he can't fight him. And that's a really uncomfortable feeling as France, because they play these pocket ecos. Like, they're not a civ. It's not like England where they condense themselves and go farm them very quickly, right? It's not like the Rus where they gather up all these carcasses and they condense themselves. It's not like the HRE where they say, I can survive long enough to get Imperial underneath my own TC. Like, instead, you have to go for these really greedy expansions. And that falls back to what we're talking about with them being a tempo setter. If they're not keeping their opponent boxed in, if they're not controlling the midfield, they can't play to the economical advantages. And this might be the territory where you mentioned at the start, like multi-TCs. At this stage, if I'm looking at what Concur's doing, I wouldn't be against him sticking 5 people on stone right now.
Yeah. Well, GeoA is just going to sit back for now, it looks like, but I imagine he'll be pushing up very soon. And this is a tournament game, so there's no reason for him to overplay his hand. He knows he's ahead, and it looks like there is an age up coming down, that guild hall now for Concur.
How many knights has he got, though? Like, I'm wondering if this is worthwhile right now, because I feel like his knight count got stripped. He's like, what? He's been counterfeited to 2. That's not a good feeling. Usually when you get
a horse archer?
What?
I thought I saw a horse archer.
I mean, yep, he could. This is really cool, because now he can actively raid. Remember what we said? Like, he had inventory, so he couldn't go north. These guys can, though. When was the last time you saw these units?
Oh, boy. I'd be happy to never see him again after the last few months, but they're much more reasonable now.
Yeah, they rarely ever come out. Meanwhile, wait. GeoA, that's free bounty right there.
Oh, wolf. Yeah, look at that.
Bro. The last of his kind. He's like, no, we can't make the wolves extinct. And then they realize there's no second one for them to mate with, so you might as well get 25 gold.
Okay, here we go. Horse archers coming in, and it looks like they... Let's see, do they need 3 volleys, I guess, to take out a villager? Or the scout can help.
And they're a lot slower now. The power of pew-pew ponies.
There we go.
And you don't even have to kill them, right? If you just stay here, they can't gather here. Max warfare coming out. He's got up to 460, but now he doesn't have any more to gain, so he can't actually unlock the tier 3, but it's still a lot of surplus gold. And the knights are going to arrive. The knights that can charge in onto the horse archers, so horse archers will be sniped out. But you're out of position now. Wait, what?
Yeah,
He's trying to yoink the deer.
And GeoA knows exactly where his army is, so if he wants to apply some pressure mid, as we do see his army moving across that stealth forest right now. He has grabbed a sacred site there in the meantime and picking up some relics. Each one of those relics is 100 gold income per minute, so he has 2. That's 200 gold. Each sacred site also equals 100 gold per minute.
Yes, the French might like cheese, but the Rus like cheddar in this situation. They're getting plenty of gold, and there's no confliction, right? Like, it's going to be very hard for you to move out and do this with the monastery, because horse archers don't play. Whoopsie, that's
he might lose 2.
Yeah, and this is the annoying part. Like, your opponent is now showing horse archers, so it's kind of a really weird gamble at this stage to go for the monastery without any mid control. Knights will be able to clean up the horse archers, but in the meantime, outpost at the front of the base is going to be denied, and he did go on the stone.
Picked up a few villagers there too. Yeah. He's just picking off like a villager there, a villager here, and just surrounding his whole base.
Also, what's next is what matters, right? It's something that GeoA was doing in the back of his base. He's building siege workshops. So he's going to have siege, but I don't see the same thing coming out of Concur, and I think that's going to hurt him. a lot.
Now, those archer numbers are high. I think GiveUA needs to pull back now. I'm not sure if he's looking. I think there might be a man-at-arms, though, in there.
Oh, he's raiding again.
Yeah,
he won't find it this time, though. They pull back. But I think if we look at in the back of the base, I don't know if GiveUA went for 2 siege workshops. He at least got 1. I saw it being built at the back. So he's going to have Mangonel soon, and I don't think Concur has even started building a siege workshop yet. He has no way of scouting that out, either.
And GiveUA is grabbing his 3rd sacred site and has already 3 relics heading in. Also, a 4th relic. That's really cool. The UI will show you when a relic's on its way home, too. Look at that. That's pretty neat. It's 3 and it says 1's coming in.
Some people would say this is technology, but I think it's witchcraft. I don't know
so that'll be
it,
at least 600 gold generation. I guess with that next relic, that'll be 700 gold generation.
Yeah, and then also GiveUA already has double the military force, right? All the sacred sites now, so you have to come out. But you have like less than a third of the map right now. Oh my god, no, GiveUA!
Oh!
He's going for the wall.
He doesn't see
and he doesn't realize Concur doesn't know where to look. It's too late, buddy!
He grabbed 3.
Oh my god. So he almost got the 8. That was a really good turnaround. Concur, if he didn't go for the tower there, he was going to lose all 8. That still hurts.
Gosh.
That is still a stinger right there. And it's all because he knows it's too long of a run to get back. But now he's like, I have peasants to protect me. I will throw them in the fight as I run away. Oh, such a smart play.
Boy.
And all of a sudden, GiveUA with a healthy 6 eco unit lead.
There we go. Taps out. And GiveUAnxiety is up 2-0 in this series. 1 victory with Mongols, 1 victory with the Rus. And we'll be going to game 3 of this best of 5.
And I think Concur, like, he's feeling that anxiety now. He's going to request a paper bag before they get into game 3 because that had to be frustrating. Like, you got picked apart. I think the biggest issue I see in that game, it comes back to the choice to go for Spearman and not go pro scouts. I see no reason to go in Spearman if you're not going to get pro scouts. You would have been better served by more horsemen to chase down in the field. It just kind of felt like a game losing play. Like, I'm not going to take anything away from GiveUA. You've done a really good job. But I feel like you kind of sacrificed your ability to up the aggression by throwing Spearman into the equation. It didn't really have a clear plan, right? Like, you're probably getting that feeling as well. Like, what next? It's kind of what I call tactics versus strategy. Like, Concur had a tactic in mind. I'm going to deny scouts via spears. Good players have a strategy. They have like, and now this, and now that. Like, GiveUA's like, I'm going to get pro scouts into like defensive forces to cover those scouts. Then I'm going to go for a tech boom up. Then I'm just going to go into horse archers to raid on the sides against France. It just felt like GiveUA had a full plan and Concur had half a plan. And that made the difference. But you know what? That difference leads into something spicy. Remember, folks, these are best of 5s. Which means GiveUA being 1 point away decides to mix it up a little as he's going to take to Altai with China.
There we go. First time today we've seen China in a game. So we'll have to see how this fares. We see a lot of players haven't been favoring China lately. They have had a few nerfs in some of the most recent patches, and there's upcoming changes to them, but they are not quite in the game yet.
God.
And up against English here on Altai, and Altai is a map that China can. It's a good defensive spot, right? You can build that Barbican. You've got these hills on the side. You're thinking about the English. They might be coming forward with some longbows, but he might be able to with a few wall segments or even his landmark, be in a good defensive situation here. So, and of course, GiveUA looking to clinch the series. If he can win this, he will be qualifying officially for the main event.
Yeah, and this one could be quick either way. Like, both of these civs have a inkling to rushing in the feudal age, right? Obviously, the English with the outposts and the longbows, and then when you look on the other side, you're talking about China right now. Their build speeds on their outposts, their ability to drop the barbecue in their opponent's base and stick them on the grill is pretty effective, and that's actually one of the big kind of awkward things about Altai, right? It's like you highlight the fact that they have these kind of defensive areas. You've got these kind of nice mountains to defend on your side. That can actually just create a natural prison for you because it's much easier for an outpost rush to enclose you and stop you from expanding. But we'll have to see if that is going to happen. I mean, in this situation, actually, an interesting thing to think about is if we think about the way that both of these players have played so far, I think Concur, I'm going to make the pun, maybe he'll concur with this. He's been a little bit too slow on his timings. And I think that's actually That's pretty condemning for England of all civs. I think if there's any like civ that you have to be optimal with your timings right now, it's this civ. And it kind of shows when you look at the stat side of things, like this is the worst performing civ at the highest end of the leaderboard in pubs, but also its performance yesterday was absolutely jaw-droppingly pathetic. It had a 17.24% win rate with 33 games. Like that, I mean, as an Englishman, that kind of just, that makes me put my head down in shame.
And these games are live if you're just now joining us. So we are waiting for this next game to start, but we are watching these live. Of course, there's always a 5-minute delay after they have started it. And big shout out to, we've got Lidicor has been in the observer booth doing a great job all day, moving that camera around, getting those beautiful angles. And it's been fun. This is the first time I've casted with you, KillerPigeon, and it's been a fun day so far here on hour 4 and almost a half.
Oh, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. I like how we just like demean Lidicor. He moves the camera around. Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. Like, you know, it's a team effort, and I think we've been nailing it. You've been doing a great job. But you know what? I hear the sound of sheep that are waiting to be butchered, the poor animals, as it looks like Game 3 is about ready to get underway. GiveUAnxiety on match point. We take to Altai, where it'll be China versus England.
And let's take a look at these spawns real quick. We got GiveUA's got the gold back behind his base. Nice safe spot considering there might be longbows coming in to poke. That gold's in a great location for him. He's got the 2 tree lines to the front. Of course, Altai is known for not having a ton of wood, right? You have only a few of these tree lines, not really much stragglers. And then looking over on the other side of the map for the English, he's got 2 pocket wood lines behind his base, which is probably good for him. You like to have plenty of wood there for producing longbows if that is your goal, and with some gold to the front. So I don't know, map looks pretty decent. I see some relics spread out across the middle. It looks rather evenish. What's your take on it?
I think this is like not the best generation for an England player, just because your ability to box your opponent with outposts is a bit harder. Like optimally, what you're looking for is where your opponent is like hard pressed up against the mountain, and they have like their woods on each side, because then it creates like this very small area you have to control as an England player. Yeah. And the worst thing that you can have as an England player is when your opponent has like a full encirclement requirement. Because compared to like France, where they raid in, like England have very slow raid. So if you look at the outskirts of GiveUA's base, like from the north side to the south side, you have to create this network of outposts. And it means that once you cover the south side, you're out of position. And that's the worst case scenario for England. It's exploitable. So if he wants to make this outpost rush work, he's going to have to be very quick. And it is going to be somewhat requiring of GiveUA being greedy, I think. Because if GiveUA just drops a stable and rushes horsemen with supervise, I think like your plan to enclose your opponent falls apart really quickly.
Look how those trees spawned like in the crook of that mountain. Like you can't just like run around the side and tower it. And to the point also, English can run around the left side of the base because the mountains don't totally block it. So he can flank that way. So there's a few options, but that's a pretty nice safe wood line there as far as GiveUA is concerned. Yeah,
like GiveUA, he can just drop the barbecue at the front and he's safe, right? Shrimp barbecue all day and all night. Or he can just palisade that gap between the southern wood line and the mountain. And then there's no easy way in for Concur, because early on you don't build spears, you just want to build archers.
We've got some sheep picked up there, and see, it's about like 6-ish sheep or whatever. I'm not sure what GiveUA was able to grab. I'm assuming looks like a 1 scout operation, although it looks like Concur has 2 scouts picking up some more sheep there.
Yeah, this is one of the things we're trying to, like, you don't really want to build another scout because you're building Imperial officials, right? So, like, you're already sacrificing villager gains. But he will get the 2nd imp official out, of course. Enjoy them while they're good. They're about to become a little bit more annoying to access once the upcoming patch arrives. But for now, that's going to bolster his economy a lot. And you're seeing this tech up already coming out from Concur. It looks like he didn't bother to stop off a wheelbarrow that some English players have been doing. But also, with the location of his council hall, it's not protected. This is something that's less popular for England players right now, is they don't drop their council hall away from their TC, because if they ever go on the defensive, they can't build new longbows against range units, right? Like, if you look here, if there's Zhugnu waiting outside this council hall, you can't build at all.
There's that Imperial Academy, and he does have 2 Imperial officials walking around there already.
Yeah, I think this is a really good play, because I think something that a lot of players have identified is you don't need to go immediate barbecuing the sun. Even against like a civ like England, there's a delay on the aggression. So you can wait and react. Because if you just drop a barb and a stun straight away, it's stuck, right? Like, you're not the Mongols. You can't pack it up and move it somewhere else to defend you. That would be broken, by the way. But, like, it's stuck there. So your opponent just looks and goes, I'm just going to walk around this.
I don't know. Like, those longbows are incoming. I'd be a little nervous to not put any defense up there, but I'm sure he has a plan for it.
How about being China and having supervised with one stable?
Yeah. There's a barracks being dropped down already.
Part. Yeah, so he has to do it. I think he understands fully. Like, he's probably experienced this too much. China sees England, they build horsemen. It's kind of a given. The worrying part is that this delays, but something that I've not really seen a lot of England players efficiently solve still in equal matchups, is that if you drag this out now in long feudal with spear and combo, if the Chinese player gets Song Dynasty, Zhugnu counters everything you're doing.
Yep.
So
here comes the classic longbow spearman push. Perhaps a tower if we get crazy here. And,
England building towers? No, they'd never do that.
There's a stable and an archery range.
Yep, already prepping himself. And this is so efficient. Like, this is kind of what just makes China so ridiculous at this stage in the game. Like, I've always been hard on the belief that China is very much the most powerful at feudal. And it's still, like, being optimized this day. And it's going to be optimized and changed around when the patches arrive. Because of the supervised. Like, you're saving so much wood in your economy. Think about what your opponent has to do to match it. They have to spend an extra 300 wood to match that.
Look at how close those buildings are, too. Like, he's getting that gold in a meat. Look how efficient the gold drop-off is there. Wow.
Oh, my God. It's like everything is beautiful there. It's so GiveUA-like.
So good. Wow.
No downtime on my tax, man.
Holy cow. There we go.
Now, he's just Scrooging it up. He's like, got to save every penny, boys.
He hasn't even built a gold mine, and he's not really going to need to here. Wow, this is a smart move. I haven't played a ton of China personally, and I get annoyed by the Imperial Official mechanics, but this seems to be a great way to optimize that gold gathering. I'm sure there's many maybe casual China players at home thinking, I'm going to steal this.
It's actually really popular for China right now, and I think it's most powerful, in fact, on Altai. Just because everything's condensed, like your deer line, your wood line, they're all so close together, so you can min-max your taxing. It's so much better on this map. Like, this is why Altai, I would say, is like one of the best maps for China right now.
Did he just like bring that wolf back home? Does he think he's getting bounty from that?
Just in case there's a roost player somewhere. He's not even like processing what his opponent's playing. He's like, I'm in on the greed. Welcome to China, boys.
And those longbows have not shown up yet, and GiveUA's eco is looking great. He's got military in production. Really in a nice spot, because I feel like the best thing English has for him at this moment is like a little bit of pressure, and I think that's going to be negated. His scout does see that those horsemen are there already. He kind of knows what to expect. He does have a tower mid-map. Now, the reason why English is building that tower, if you didn't know, is they get that network of castles bonus when the opponents get close to it, which will give a speed boost to the units, which is a nice thing.
Yeah, so it gives the attack speed boost, right? So no yamming, but like, yeah, you get an attack speed buff. It's a little bit varying. I think longbowmen instead of getting the full 25%, they get about 13.7. I think spearmen get 18.9. I'm probably pulling that.
If only that was in the UI.
Yeah, the best part is like some things in the game are kind of honest about it. Like the Tower of Victory for the Delhi says it gives around a 15% attack speed buff. But if you look at the English one, like the English one is like false advertising. It just says you get 25% attack speed buff.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that's true, buddy. I think the only unit that gets the full amount actually is it's either Spearman or Man at Arms, but I can't remember which.
I thought we were going to see an engagement here. I saw longbows poke in, but they quickly turned around. There's another tower, so I don't know. I feel like this is like, GiveUA's road to the main event is winning this game, and it's not like some of these matchups where you might have to be like wondering what your opponent's doing. He knows exactly what his opponent's doing right now. He sees the longbow and spear. He sees the tower. So he probably has a plan how to deal with this scenario.
Yeah, it's not like the music under pressure is playing, right? Like, you don't actually feel like the English player has done anything to invalidate you in this game. And now fight's underway. Horseman going to ride out. Longbows backing up for the moment. Archer's trying to get in range to reveal the spears. And they will engage onto the villager. Denies the additional outpost going down. And that should be a retreat away. Concur cannot take the fight anymore. Spearman will re-engage. Archer stay in range with a 1.25 movement speed. And this is the weakness of the Longbows. They move slower. So you have to cover their escape. And their escape is not being covered at all, as they are being picked apart.
And he stopped that tower from going out. He's going to siege that down. And now, usually against English, you just got to win one good fight, and then it can usually snowball things back from there. GiveUA's economy is just booming, and you hear those officials dropping off that gold. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. They're going to have a pile of gold Scrooge McDuck back there. You're right. But yeah, I think he's
how like games have noises like that, right? Like the ones like, oh, it feels so good to hear. Like a good Mangonel shot is one, but economically, Pax has to be the best one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a little bit of one farm has been dropped there at home.
Look, I'm English, guys. I build farms. It just feels so discounted right now. He can't afford the wood either. Like you can see, he's only flowing 100 surplus because he built into the outposts, and also he's kind of invested now. So if he backs off, I think GiveUA just techs up, and then he's completely on the back foot. So he has to renew the push, get new units out to try and at least match the count that GiveUA has, and then drop a new outpost. I just think this is the weakness of Spears Archers. Like, I wonder if this would have been better if Concur just went stables. But obviously, then you're still a weakness if your opponent can outproduce you with the triple production rate on a stable.
Yeah. And GiveUA looks like he's going for siege engineering, which means he's probably going to be making a ram to go after that tower.
What? Rams from GiveUA? That's very innovative. I've never seen that before.
I mean, I just feel like his win condition right now is take one good fight against this army, and that'll secure his victory towards the main event. But it's not over yet. Let's see what can happen. We've got spearmen and longbows, but GiveUA's not known to just throw horsemen into the spears.
Oh,
here we go.
Right out.
Charging forward.
And the spears. They're split so far back
and
right now.
He pulls back, keeping those horsemen alive as the archers move up, and they are targeting the spearmen. Hardest thing is sometimes just clicking them in the UI. But there we go. Spearmen going down as the horsemen just continue to run around. And once all those spearmen are dead, it'll be free roam for the horsemen. But it looks like GiveUA has decided to pull back, probably because he's going to make a ram. He just finished. Yeah, there we go. He's going to finish up that ram. He's not going to overcommit right now.
Yeah, it's a case of you have the military advantage. And you can clearly see it. We can see it, right? Like, we have God Vision. We have the count via wonderful UI. But, like, he can see in that fight that he outnumbers. So he's like, okay, so I'm still better economically. And I have the military advantage. It's like he's just gaining. Like, it's just chipping his opponent down, wearing him down. And the problem with Concur is, like, now that he's invested in it twice, he can't now just fall back and go, I'm a TC boom. He has to replace the army again. This is, like, the awkward issue of creeping losses like this, is, like, you have to keep replacing your military force. Your opponent then, at every stage, has the choice to either double down on the lead or diversify and invest in greedy things.
Okay, so we've got the archers shoot at that ram, but not going to do much damage. And a lot of Chinese archers moving on up. And yeah, this is quite a mass from GiveUA. Microing this horseman back, just doing a great job controlling his army. Horsemen running around, and eventually they will go in for the kill here, getting this around on those longbows. There we go, going around left. And boy, oh boy, this could be a cleanup there of the English army.
So I guess it was before the one-child policy, because that is a lot of Chinese infantry. And it's just going to run them down now. Like, it's such a heavy loss for Concur, because this is worst-case scenario. Remember what we highlighted at the beginning here. That council hall, that racks placement. If your opponent boxes you in, you can't produce out of them. So it's really critical that he doesn't give over any more ground, but he's going to be forced to do so.
Okay, so licking his lips and moving forward, trying to get those longbows. I mean, just his archer mass is enough to take on this entire army, probably. And he's going to continue sending units across the field as it's looking like he may be very close to securing his advancement.
Have a look at GiveUA's wood count right now.
1,000. Oh, it's ram time, baby.
Yeah, I think we know what's coming. I can sense it already. Like, I think his food situation is still kind of okay, so there's no instant pressure for farmlands. But even if there was, like, he can afford everything. Like, he can just start chucking logs at his opponent at this stage. He's that rich.
Here comes
there's one being built.
Just pulling back like he knows he has the advantage. Not going to overextend right now. Probably getting pretty excited.
I mean, the issue right now is Concur needs surplus wood to build more military infrastructure, but he just doesn't have it. Like, his economy feels weak. He's 5 villages behind because he sacrificed one or two in the front. And it feels like he's missing beats in his line. Like, he's not getting, like, optimal push out constantly of all military units at this stage. Another push in. Ram moving in onto the racks.
Nope.
He's like, no, I just wanted to come out and play.
I don't think there's even any spearmen to mess with that. I think he could go for it, but...
Yeah, but like he doesn't have to because look
Yeah.
at what he's doing. He's
He
just
doesn't
going to
know
tech
either
up.
too. Yeah.
Like it's so crippling right now for Concur, and it's all because he hasn't diversified. It's still just longbows. Like this is the stubborn nature of a lot of England players, right? They're like, I must build longbows. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, but
I've
they're
got,
countered.
I've got to correct you. You're saying tech up, but this is Age of Empires. They're aging up. We got to get that right here.
Okay, sorry. The Takajing. The
You
Takajing.
you can't underplay the aging in Age of Empires.
Well, it took ages for him to get to Castle Age here, but 14.5 minutes. GiveUA has decided he doesn't want more Rams. He just wants Imperial Palace. Mainly so he can just see where all the villages are and laugh at how inferior Concur's economy is.
Yeah, this is just playing, playing it safe. He knows he's ahead. He could go for it.
Actually, I've seen this before at GiveUA. I've been watching a lot of his pub games, and for some reason, he's been going Imperial Palace a lot recently, and he always builds it at the front of his base. And I don't know why to this day. Like, I know it's a palace. I know it's called a palace, guys, but it doesn't have any defenses. Like, it doesn't
Look
fire
at that line of
people.
sight. Did he just use it? I'm trying to see.
Yep,
Yeah, because
probably.
he can see. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he sees in the base.
Yeah. There we go.
He's snitching.
Got them spies.
Chinese spies.
He just
Oh my
decides-
god, he just out!
That's enough.